All right, what's happening, everyone? Just watched the first round of the NFL draft and didn't finish the Nuggets Wolves game, but we can pretty much see how that's going to end. So, real quick on the basketball, three not super great games tonight, but still it was basketball. We had the Hawks and the Knicks, and that one was the best game of the night. Let's just say this. Mikal Bridges, bro, the playoffs have started. You better wake up because the Knicks, you guys are down to 2 more losses and you added the playoffs in the first round. So get it together. The Knicks traded 4 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges. Where you at, my guy? You need to show up, okay? Minus 26. 0 points. 0. How much would this guy fetch as a free agent right now? I mean, yeah, see, I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. 0 for 3 field goals, 0 for 2 from 3. This is what bothers me. 1 rebound. That is an effort stat, okay? Obviously, if you're big, yeah, it's easier for you to get the rebounds. I get it. As guards, though, that is an effort stat, okay? Guys like Jalen Suggs, those guys get rebounds, and they're smaller than you, okay? Josh Hart's on your own team. That guy can rebound. How many did he have tonight? 9. He had 9 rebounds, Josh Hart, okay? Effort. It's the playoffs. So disaster there for New York. Brunson has a moment where he's magical, gives the Knicks the lead, and then CJ McCollum, takes a mismatch, having smaller Brunson on him, gets the shot to go, and then Brunson on offense trying to win the game. Nothing happens, not even get a shot off. Brutal loss for the Knicks. I thought they'd bounce back in this one, and they were down most of the game. Honestly, they were going to steal it at the end because this was Atlanta's game pretty much from the jump. They had to lead most of the game. So that's my thoughts on that one. Cleveland at Toronto. Look, I had this series. I had Cleveland in 5, and I said this will be the game that Toronto will get, and they got it. Scotty Barnes looked like a sure superstar in this one. The guy, I mean, look, you can't say anything bad about him in this series, okay? He is the Raptors guy. I don't know if he can be the number one option on a championship-winning team, but he's definitely not lower than 2. This guy brings it. He plays hard. He plays defense. Again, winning players matter in the playoffs. Scotty Barnes is a winning player. 33 points, 11 dimes, 5 rebounds. And look, this stat sheet doesn't even show what he did on defense. He was guarding James Harden. He was switching on to Donovan Mitchell. Again, I criticized Darko Rajakovic, the Raptors coach in game 1, but I'm criticizing him for things that all coaches do, and I don't understand why they do it. Anybody could have told you Scotty Barnes is the best defender pretty much, or if it's not him, it's honestly the rookie, CMB. Regardless, Scotty Barnes, let's just say for argument's sake, with his experience, is the best defender on the Raptors. Why in the world is he not guarding Donovan Mitchell or James Harden from game 1, from the jump? You know this is going to happen already. You know Donovan Mitchell is the Cavs' best player, right? Why don't you just shut that valve off from game 1? But coaches do this. Again, they know more than me. But I don't know why they wait to make that adjustment. You know the adjustment is going to come. Why not just do it? Save yourself the loss in game 1. So I don't get it. But regardless, Scotty Barnes showed up, 33 points, insane game for him. Brandon Ingram, not great. But guess what? I saw a little bit more effort. I'm not going to knock him too much in this one. That's why he finished at plus 15. When he was on the floor, look, again, he did not have a good game. I'm not saying that. But at least we saw him, try to, reach out and try to get some loose balls or something. But if he keeps playing like this, tonight Jamison Battle came in, outscored Brandon Ingram, okay? He had 14 points in 16 minutes. Brandon Ingram played 29 minutes. All right, and last but not least, Colin Murray-Boyles, the rookie for the Raptors, number 9 pick, stud, absolute stud, winning player. This guy, the Raptors got one here, okay, for sure. He is a bona fide starter for years to come because he's got that. He's got that winning DNA in him, all right? 22 points, 11 for 15 field goals, 8 rebounds. It's not even all that. Like I said with Scotty Barnes, this guy's guarding everything. Plus 21 for Colin Murray-Boyles. And he's a rookie. He's 20 years old. He's been doing this all 3 games of this series so far. Big props to the rookie, and that's why he's playing more minutes than Jakob Poeltl because he deserves it. All right, moving on. Last game of the night, Minnesota, Denver. Jokic, buddy, look, I get it. The team just relies on you and no one else really. It's you and Jamal Murray, and that's it. Aaron Gordon was a late scratch, so the Nuggets were not prepared for this game. I mean, from the get-go, the Wolves went up big. But look, man, you got Rudy Gobert on you, and I get it. And that guy, I think people underrate Rudy Gobert because I think he's a winning player because he plays defense. He was the defensive player of the year several years. Why? Because that's what winners do. So I love Rudy Gobert. And when he was playing with Donovan Mitchell in Utah and people were constantly making fun of him and he gets played off the floor because he can't get out to the three-point line. Well, you know what I was saying? Well, why don't the guards stay in front of their men? And then he won't have to run out to the three-point line. But when you're just always trying to switch because you're lazy or you're out there just kind of, letting your guy get by you, guess what? That puts Rudy Gobert in a tough spot. He's either got to help you or go to the corner where the guy's wide open. So, what do you want him to do? Well, great defender, but Jokic, you're an MVP candidate. You got to play better than this. 7 for 26 field goals. Just terrible. Terrible game. 27 points. That's what I'm saying. People will look at the points and be like, oh, he had a good game. 27 points, 15 rebounds. That's great. No, it's not. That's 21 misses, okay? Even if 10 of those shots go to other players that are in better positions and make 5 of those shots, let's say they're all 2-pointers. Well, that's 10 points. It's not 113-96. It's 113-106. At least it would have been a closer game, right? And you would have been competing. So some of them were bad shots. They're all kind of short. And like I said, I'm not even defending him. He looks exhausted out there because everything runs through Jokic. But it's unacceptable. I'm sorry. That's what comes with the territory. If you're going to be the franchise player, the MVP, just top 3 player in the NBA, it kind of does fall on your shoulders. I'm sorry. I know it's unfair, but it's unfair that you get paid. I mean, not unfair. It's fair because he deserves it. But I'm saying, it's not a fair system. It's not like everyone's getting paid the same salary. You get paid more because there's more responsibility on your shoulders and you got to show up. So, concern with Minnesota is Edwards left the game, didn't come back in. We'll see how his knee's doing. But, the Wolves, at least now, and I don't think they should have this mentality, obviously, but they could afford to lose game 4 if Ant doesn't play because they got this huge win, much needed for them. All right, switching gears now, NFL draft. Let's go through the picks really quick. Just a quick recap. Number 1, Fernando Mendoza. We knew that was coming. We'll see. With all these picks, look, we'll see what happens, right? Because nobody knows. Nobody knows. We've seen draft picks like Tom Brady, 7th rounder, and becomes the best quarterback ever in the NFL, right? And we've seen number 1 picks or number 2 pick, Jamarcus Russell, and he's out in the league in a few years and it's a bust. So, look, I'm just giving my opinion, but nobody knows. And everybody's just giving their opinion. That's just how it goes. Even the experts, think so highly of things. One thing I will say about this draft is it went by a lot quicker because they did shorten the time for the selections. I liked it. Kind of sped through it. Everything was going smooth. I like it very much. All right. Fernando Mendoza, number 1. Solid. Good job, Raiders. All right. Number 2, David Bailey, edge to the Jets out of Texas Tech. He's been ranked pretty highly. You need pieces if you're the Jets, right? So you need more good assets, good playmakers. Start figuring out who's going to be the superstars that are going to be there and be part of your franchise long-term once you do get your franchise quarterback. So there was not really a pick that I was not going to like here from the Jets because you just keep bringing in studs. Unless they would have drafted a running back right there or a wide receiver right there. And the Cardinals made that sin and drafted Jeremiah Love, number 3. This is the problem I have with this. If Jeremiah Love becomes Saquon Barkley, that's amazing. That is great. But guess what? You're Saquon Barkley on a bad football team. If you put Saquon Barkley on, the Raiders last year, are they making the playoffs? No. So this is not changing, your franchise right now. And so in my opinion, you got to get a franchise guy that's going to be solidified there to help you find, the QB of the future. So I mean, that doesn't even make sense because that only, kind of takes out the defensive side of the ball. But this is not a prime position to be drafting. You should be looking at getting, the expensive positions, if that makes any sense. An edge rusher, like an offensive tackle, like those kind of positions that on the free agent market cost a lot. Like, sure, Saquon Barkley is a great running back, but if it's him or if it's Kenneth Walker, is there that big of a difference? And that's what I'm trying to say here. I guess the way I'm looking at it is a salary cap point of view, where I just think that you shouldn't be picking top 5, a position that is not a top 5 paid in the NFL. So you can actually take advantage of the salary that the rookie contracts allow you to give. So again, it's just weird to me when these teams pick guys like this so early. including the Titans here at number 4 with Carnell Tate. I just think it's a receiver. I mean, sure, fine, because you got the rookie QB. You want to give him a weapon, but trade down. Trade down and get more assets and then still get yourself a receiver, right? Like, again, I get it. Maybe the trade's not there or whatever. Do you just didn't take anything? No, then that's why sometimes I'm like, sure, then you still take Carnell Tate. But I'll say this, a wide receiver on the free agent market, a top wide receiver, is way more expensive than the top running back in the free agent market. That's why the Cardinals making this mistake, to me, is way bigger than the Titans. Like the Titans, sure, maybe they did try to trade down, and if teams weren't offering anything, take your guy, that's fine. So, all right, Arvell Reese, number 5 to the Giants, linebacker. I like it. It was either going to be him pretty much, we knew that, or a Sonny Styles at this point, so they take him. Now, the Chiefs, they trade a 3rd-round pick and a 5th-round pick to go from number 9 to number 6 for the same guy that all the mock drafts had them picking at number 9. So I think they overpaid there. Mansour Delaney. I mean, look, you get your guy, good pick, bad trade. That's the way I see it. Sonny Styles to Washington. He slid. Many people thought he might go top 3. Good pick because I think you're getting value there. And he's, a linebacker, edge rusher. Like, great, awesome. Because if that guy's a stud, you're saving money the next 5 years, not having to pay one at that prime premium position from free agency. Jordan Tyson, receiver to the Saints at number 8. Again, if he's your guy, great. But you're the Saints. You're not a good team right now. Build more. Like, you need more assets. You need more, blue chip players. And the way you're going to get that, unless you're so convinced, and I'm sure they are, that this is the guy, he's going to be a blue chipper. Sure. Can't knock it because it's a wide receiver. Like I said, that's starting to be a premium paid position. So fair enough. Spencer Fano, number 9 to Cleveland. Boring pick, but I love it because that's what you need. Start building in the trenches. So good pick there at Cleveland. Number 10, the Giants, their 2nd first-round pick. They get Francis Maigoa, offensive tackle out of Miami. Again, I like the trenches picks. I'm sorry. I'm just going to always like them because they're boring, but they're expensive. A top offensive tackle makes a lot of money in the free agent market. So if you can get one in the draft and you can pay him a rookie scale salary and have control of this player for the next 5 years, that frees you up because if he's a stud by year 2, you are now not paying big money for that premium position, which allows you to either A, spend on multiple players with that money that you're saving in free agency for some depth, or that big chunk of salary that you would give to the offensive tackle, maybe now you can actually use on a wide receiver. You're going to have to pay Neighbors, or on a quarterback if you decide to go free agent, if Jackson Dart's not the guy, or whatever else you decide to do. But those premium positions is what matters to me. All right, 11, Caleb Downs, safety, going to the Cowboys. How perfect is this? I love it. I do love it for the Dallas Cowboys. Look, I just think that this was a player that he's had some injury concerns, whatever, but without a doubt, he's an absolute stud. Everyone's been saying it, top safety in the draft. And again, when it comes to injury concerns, a tricky situation because, you don't want to get a guy that's coming off an injury, right? But at the same time, if you get a guy and in year 1 he gets hurt, well, by year 2, he's still coming off an injury, and I get it. That's a hypothetical, and this is a realistic thing. But, if you think of a guy's NFL career starting, and in his 3rd year he gets an injury, if it's not a disastrous injury or something like that, usually they bounce back and they're all right. So with these college guys, in my opinion, it's like they're starting their legitimate football career. Like, obviously they play high school football, but let's say college football career 2 years ago, and this might have been his 2nd year, he gets an injury. Like, all right, it's kind of hard to tell. So again, most of these are just you're swinging for the fences and hoping for the best. Miami Dolphins, Caden Proctor, offensive tackle from Alabama. I like it. You ain't got much going on. You ain't got a franchise quarterback. Start getting the expensive positions shored up. If you get that, then later, if you really want, you can spend on a free agent quarterback, right? So like if you draft a good edge player this draft, if you draft a good offensive tackle in this draft, if you draft a legit wide receiver in this draft, the premium positions you are getting on rookie scale contracts. So guess what? Now if there's a free agent quarterback that's out there or someone that wants to be traded from their team, you can afford that guy. That's why I like this with the teams that don't have franchise quarterbacks. More picks, try as hard as you can to get the most amount of blue chip players in the premium positions. That's my strategy. 13. Honestly, this was the surprise of the draft. The Rams at 13 take Ty Simpson, quarterback out of Alabama. I kind of love it. I do kind of love it. Everyone's shocked. Like, wait, they're in a win now situation. However, hey, look, it's a balancing act, right? Yeah, a win now situation, but what happens if Stafford gets hurt, and you got to think about the future as well. Okay. And so look, Obviously, I don't think they're thinking, what if Stafford gets hurt? Because if Stafford gets hurt and this is the guy you're throwing out there, it's a rookie quarterback. The Vikings tried a rookie quarterback pretty much with JJ McCarthy, and we'll see how that goes. Like, these guys need experience. They need time on practice, camp, preseason, all that. But he gets that opportunity to sit behind Matthew Stafford, pretty much signals that this is probably Stafford's last year. And guess what? Now, if you really want to retain Davante Adams and Puka Nacua the year after, you can pay those guys because you're going to have a quarterback that you believe in on a cheap rookie scale. So that's how it goes. All right. The Ravens, Vega Loan, I don't even know how to say the name. Guard, solid, protect Lamar Jackson. Sure. Ruben Bain Jr., edge to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 15. Again, premium positions. I'm going to pretty much always like them because at the same time, I can't predict which ones of these guys are going to be good players. Ruben Bain Jr. is 15. He's an edge player, and the number 2 pick in the draft was David Bailey, and he's an edge player. And guess what? 2 years from now, maybe the 15th pick is better than the second pick. I don't know. Nobody knows, okay? No one can guarantee that. It's a crapshoot. That's why, to me, it's more about the positions and the economics of the draft that I can actually really judge here more than the player because we don't know how these players are going to turn out. Kenyon Sadiq, tight end, to the Jets at number 16. Again, try to get blue chippers. Sure, tight end, trying to become an expensive position, get it. Blake Miller to the Lions, an offensive tackle. I like it because the Lions have had some offensive line changes. It hasn't been as good as years prior, so get that. Caleb Banks, 6'6" defensive tackle to the Minnesota Vikings. I'm a Vikings fan. I was very shocked about this pick. I don't love it because the guy, has hurt his foot. But again, it's one of those things where injuries happen in the NFL. If he's fine after this injury, well, apparently you got what would have been probably a top 10 pick if healthy because this guy apparently is a game wrecker. But he wasn't that going into the draft. Injury concerns dropped him. And similar with what the Cowboys did with Caleb Downs. If you believe that this guy fully healthy, it would have been or is in your mind the top prospect at the position, sure, then I understand. And at 18, it's not like you're spending the 3rd pick on this guy. So fine, whatever. Monroe Freeling, tackle out of Georgia, going to the Panthers. Protect Bryce Young. I like it. Mekhi Lemon, wide receiver, USC, going to the Eagles. Pretty much signals A.J. Brown's getting traded. We all kind of knew that, but now he's definitely going to the Patriots because, you're spending the 20th pick on a wide receiver. You expect him to start. He'll probably be the wide receiver next to Devontae Smith. Max Nyamnanchor out of Arizona State, another tackle. Again, I think these teams are starting to – it's a deep tackle draft because so many tackles were picked, and I like that. Akeem Mesidor from Miami, edge rusher to the Chargers. Malachi Lawrence, an edge rusher to the Cowboys. So again, smart drafting, right? There's a reason why you don't see punters and kickers going in the first round, right? Because you can get an established guy for cheap. Even if you have to overpay for a guy in the free agent market, it's still nothing compared to overpaying for an edge rusher. So I like this. Casey Concepcion, wide receiver to the Browns, Texas A&M. Sure, you guys just need blue chippers. Keep taking shots at it. You'll find your guys eventually, right? Dylan Thieneman, safety from Oregon, going to the Bears. I love this pick because, a lot of people thought he was a solid pick. He might be a bust, but you know what? You can take that chance. Get a safety here. You need that help. You lost your safety in the offseason. Why not? I like the pick for Chicago. Kylan Rutledge, Georgia Tech guard to the Texans. Chris Johnson, corner out of San Diego State, going to the Dolphins. I didn't like this pick that much because right now, still available is Jermod McCoy, the cornerback from Tennessee, who, yes, he's coming off an ACL in last January, the year prior. So teams have some injury concern. But again, when you're picking 27th, I think it's okay to take that chance, especially if you think. But again, all these teams have them ranked differently. A lot of the experts had McCoy ranked higher than Chris Johnson and other corners ranked higher than Chris Johnson. So I'm just going off of that. But he might be the top guy on their board, which I'm sure he was higher than the other guys, obviously, if they picked him. So that's fine. Caleb Lomu, Utah tackle, going to the Patriots. They traded up for this. A lot of trades here towards the end. And I like it. Get the offensive tackle, get more help. Will Campbell didn't do his job really well last year, so why not? Peter Woods, defensive tackle, goes to the Chiefs here with their 2nd pick in the first round. Yeah, I mean, you need to start finding a replacement for Chris Jones, especially if you're going to have to start paying other guys and Chris Jones is getting older. So you replace that with a cheaper guy that hopefully at his peak could become Chris Jones. Omar Cooper Jr., wide receiver, going to the Jets. They traded back into the first round. Yep, keep taking shots. Not bad. Keldrick Falk for the Titans, edge rusher. They traded back up into the first round. And the last pick in the first round was Jadarian Price, running back out of Notre Dame, going to the Seahawks. Look, do I love this pick with Seattle? I think they're playing with house money. I would have traded down to get more another shot at more picks, especially because this guy is from Notre Dame and Jeremiah Love is from Notre Dame, and they were splitting carries. And Jeremiah Love obviously is far above, ranked a lot higher than Jadarian Price. So you can look at it two ways. Well, Jadarian Price was never a starter because he didn't have the opportunity. But in my mind, I'm like, well, he wasn't good enough to beat out Jeremiah Love. And two, he also was getting the backup carries, which means when he was in the game, the defense was not game planning for him because they're game planning for when Jeremiah Love is in the game. So I don't love this pick for Seattle. I would have traded out of that, especially when there's a lot of teams that I'm sure wanted to get back into the first round so they could have the fifth-year control over said player that they picked. So overall, that's the first round. Very much enjoyed it. Can't wait to, look at rounds 2 and 3 tomorrow. And then I'll try to recap those and give my opinion on what I think and how I think that went. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys on the next pod. Appreciate y'all.